In this video, I'm going to show you the lesson plan I have made using 4 online educational tools. I'm going to first discuss the lesson plan, and then in between I will show you the activities I have come up with using the tools. So first of all, here is the lesson plan. So I have all the credentials written here. The duration is 90 minutes, which is 45 minutes for 2 periods. So the topic I have chosen is idioms, and the strand for that is speaking and listening, and the substrand is communicative purposes, as it is a high context form of language. So this would be for key stage 4, which is grade 7, 8 and 9. So first we are going to discuss the key competencies. So the key competencies chosen for this lesson is making meaning. So students get the opportunity to listen, speak and read, view, write and represent to different audiences for various purposes. Students express their thoughts and feelings through different modes. So as I have mentioned before, idioms are high context and used to express emotions and used in multiple contexts for speaking and writing. So this is the key competency I have chosen, and the shared value is values relating to self and community. So the outcomes I am planning to assess using this lesson is SLCP1, speak and listen appropriately in a variety of formal and informal contexts. Engage in speaking and listening to explore, express and respond to text creatively, interpretively and critically, and also create a variety of informational text representations for a range of purposes and audiences. And the indicators are creates a variety of informal writings such as reports, procedures, explanations and various multimedia formats, and contributes to discussions, clarifying and supporting arguments, sharing and evaluating information, experiences and opinions, produces spontaneous spoken texts that are accurate, fluent and coherent, identifies purpose, example, shares experiences, reads aloud, offers ideas and audience, uses text structures for conveying information. So the objectives of this lesson is we are learning to understand the origin and usage of idioms in English language. We are learning to discuss the meaning of idioms and where they are applicable, and to participate in a learning game and match idioms to their meanings, and to participate in a group quiz on idioms, and at the end of the lesson to attempt an individual assessment task on the usage of idioms. So the success criteria is students are able to contribute to the discussion on idioms, and students are able to complete the educational game with at least 60% accuracy, and in groups of 5 students are able to participate in a quiz on idioms, and then students are able to answer at least 6 out of the 10 assessment questions accurately. So if they fulfill these criteria, then they would be deemed successful in the lesson. So the first activity would obviously be the introduction to the lesson. So the tool I have chosen for this purposes is Mentimeter, which is an online interactive presentation tool, which we are going to discuss later. So first the teacher greets the students and students greet back, and then first the teacher has to introduce Mentimeter to the students and then ask them to log into the Mentimeter platform using the code supplied. So they will require tablets or any other forms of multimedia devices, and the teacher would require a display. And then students using the slides discuss and explain what idioms are and where they are applicable. And then there is an embedded video on idioms in that presentation that the student has to watch. So we are going to go see that right now. So here is the Mentimeter presentation. This is the slideshow I have come up with. Okay, so the first slide is what is an idiom. So the students can then choose from here, and then a graph would be displayed on their answers. And the next one is whether they can think of some idioms they know, they can write them down, and then it will generate a mind map. And then the next one is an example where the students would be required to come up with their ideas on this one. And then the next one is a few pointers on what idioms are. So we are going to relate it to their prior knowledge and say that idioms are what accounts to harubas in Divehi. And then we are going to watch the video on the common idioms. Okay, so that would be the introduction. And the main activity number 1 is an EduCandy individual quiz. So the student has to log into the EduCandy platform and then use that platform to match the idioms to their meanings, and then they can come up with flashcards once they have done that, and then they have to learn those individually in preparation for the quiz. So here is the EduCandy game. We can go to the EduCandy game and we can choose any format we want to play. So I'm going to ask them to pick matchup. So once they go to matchup and the game loads, they have 20 seconds each time. And then so what they have to do is pick the meanings from here and match it. So they can attempt them at their own time and attempt to make them correct. So calling it a day, for example, means ending the work for the day. So that is how this game works. And then next we are going to go over to main activity number 2. So for this, students would be asked to form groups of 5. And then it is important to make sure each group has students of different levels. And then we have to open the Fectile Quiz. And then one by one each student gets the chance to answer the quiz once they have picked their character and their team leaders. And then throughout the quiz, the teacher has to discuss the correct and wrong answers so that the students get an idea of where they would be applicable. So here is the Fectile Quiz. So we can select 4 teams and then select the characters, and then we can start the game. So students can pick the choice of question they want and then they can answer. They have 30 seconds to come up with an answer. So here is the correct answer. Once they have answered, we can display the correct answer and then we can discuss where it can be applicable. So this would be in preparation for their final assessment. And then the final one would be the assessment task, so which would be an individual assessment. It would be made on ClassMarker, so the student has to log on to ClassMarker with the credentials supplied and then they will attempt it individually. Okay, so this is the ClassMarker test. So it has 8 questions and this is question number 1 of 8, a multiple choice question. So there are 4 questions in the multiple choice section. And then there is a matching question of 5 marks. And then there is a short answer question. Students can attempt these answers and they'll get real-time feedback. And then this is a long answer question of 200 words where they have to write a short story using at least 5 idioms. So at the end of the lesson, the answers would be discussed and students would be given feedback on their final stories, and then the lesson concludes. So that is the lesson I have come up with. Thank you.